Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. Alright. And this is just through the Spirit. Alright. You know, the Spirit is speaking expressly. Alright, because I don't have any particular title in mind. But nevertheless, you know, my mind is kind of all over the place as far as what's going on. You know, but nevertheless, and for those that were wondering, you know, this page has been suspended for the past week on some nonsense, which, you know, we know how YouTube is and the algorithm and whatnot. So nevertheless, I'm back up on this page now. But again, just through the Spirit, like I said, I have, you know, quite a few things on my mind. But nevertheless, just gonna let the Spirit, you know, speak expressly. Just gonna let the Spirit flow, you know. And nevertheless, the main thing that's on my mind right now, which that's what the thumbnail came from, as well as other, you know, videos that have been coming out, other videos that have been surfacing, you know, just again, you know, more rumors, speculation, because we know it's just a matter of time before, you know, like the scriptures say. Let me get this real quick, jump it off, because these words are going to go from us reading them to us living it. All right, so it's no more going to be rumor, you know. Let me get this. In Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 45, starting at 45. You know, because as a matter of fact, if I can find this, Lord willing. Yep, the Wadi Yabashima Shai. Proverbs chapter 19. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 18. Chasten thy son while there is hope. Because what do the scriptures tell us? To seek the Lord while he may be found, while it's not too late. You know? It says, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. You see, because brothers and sisters, right, are catching hell, you know, because we are those little children. Lord, one of the world got numbered, right? And as a child, you know, as a parent, you're supposed to chastise your children. You know, you can't let those tears, you know. And I just say this out of, you know, the roughness, you know, because I'm a rough parent myself, you know. Them tears, just speaking for myself, you know, when it comes to the chastity, you know, those tears, they so to say, they don't mean nothing. You know, those tears, they don't move me. You know, now it's not to say that I'm just completely like, you know, because it's like a lot of us heard the saying when we were being chastised growing up, how, hey, this is going to hurt you more than it hurts me. And that's a very true statement, you know. And hey, it does hurt the Heavenly Father to, you know, have to put on us what he had to put on us, for him to do what he has to do to us. But hey, it's for the better. It's for our betterment. So that's why, like I said, them tears, man, you can't let those tears move you. You know? But nevertheless, the Heavenly Father, because again, Lord, we are of that number. We are those little children. All right, those little ones. You see? And this is how the Lord is dealing with us, man. He's chastening us. Like I said, brothers and sisters are catching hell. And it's just like, God damn. You know? But it's necessary. All right, it needs to be this way while there is hope. Because going back to this in Jeremiah 51, back in Jeremiah 51, because you see, again, with all the chastenings, I touched on this in video, well, it's on my backup channels, because like I said, this page was suspended for a week, so, you know, I've been uploading on my backup channels, but nevertheless, I touched on this, you know, in a video that I did the other day about how, hey, all the chastenings, the hell that the Lord is putting us through, you know, basically the Lord is trimming the fat, right? Literally, spiritually, in a spiritual sense, you know, things that we don't need, things that are, you know, can hinder us, and because it's a tight rope, it's a straight gate. It's called the straight gate for a reason. All right, you know, and again with the chastenings, hey, a part of the chastenings and why we suffer so much is because it's to a point where we're not emotionally, spiritually invested in this place, right? Because what do the scriptures tell us? The faith they're going to walk by, the elect, they're going to walk by faith and not by sight. You know, so what are you going to do when it all comes crashing down? Because like I said, with the videos that have been surfacing and that have been coming out, right? Rumor here, rumor there, which I'm going to get, right? Whether it's, you know, factual or not, eventually it's all going to come crashing down one way or the other. And when it does crash it down, well, what are you going to do? And Lord willing, well, that number, we're being prepped. All right, because hey, matter of fact, Salaki, I'm kind of all over the place, but that goes without saying. Like I said, you know, the Spirit is going to speak expressly, so just through the Spirit, because judgments are being prepared, man. I'm gonna get two quick precepts in Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 29. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and that's spiritual, because, you know, brothers have been, and information has been coming out about certain individuals that have been passing away. My brother just put in the chat some I think it was an Edomite that died, so-called died, you know, and I guess he came against the prophets some years ago, and he's in the spiritual realm now. You know, for those that don't know, this guy, what's his name, Brother Polite, right? I think he pleaded guilty to, you know, with certain actions with a 14-year-old girl. He pleaded guilty, you know, because at the end of the day, the Lord is going to have the last say so. All right, the Lord is going to have the last say so. He's going to have the last laugh. So, you know, judgments are prepared for scorners, people that want to talk shit. You know, the scriptures tell us that they all might be damned who believe not the truth. And this is what this time, known as Jacob's trouble, the day of afflictions, that the scriptures also mentioned, right? You know, this is what's going to be that because mainly when it comes to our people, right? Because the hell with the other nations, when it comes to our people, they want to continue to take this for a joke. They want to continue to take the Lord for a joke. Well, these people, they're about to find out why the Lord's not one to play with. And again, this is what this time that we're getting ready to come into. You know, we see the need for judgment. We're on board with it. We see why judgment is necessary. All right, we see why judgment is necessary. It has to happen. But again, Proverbs 19 and 29, judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. And again, that's what's getting ready to happen. All right, 2/3, hey, they're about to get their ass whipped. You know, without hope, because as I read earlier, hey, you know, we have hope. The Lord is chastening, like I just read in Proverbs, chastening thy son while there is yet hope. Roughly paraphrasing, but I just read it, right? You know, you see, as I quoted, seeking the Lord while he may be found, inquiring now, because the time's going to come. Like I said, these rumors, reports, speculations, right? Eventually, we're going to be living it. We're not going to be speaking on these things too much longer, you know, because, you know, I'm going back to the thumbnail. And like I said, as certain other videos that have been coming out, brothers have done videos on them already and whatnot, right? Because they're preparing for something, you know, they're preparing for something. Something's getting ready to happen. And Lord willing, is sooner than soon, because again, going back to what I was just mentioning, how, hey, the certain mindset that we have to have, that's a part of the afflictions that we go through, right? The Lord he has it to where, or he's having it to where, hey, the hopeful elect, we're numb. We don't care about none of this. If anything, we can't wait for it to go down. We can't wait for it to come crashing down. As I often say about how, hey, you know, the time of relying on the system is coming to an end real soon. The time of relying on this system, having to wake up to 3 or 4 alarm clocks to go to these bullshit ass jobs, to barely make ends meet. All this is coming to an end. Life as we know it is about to change. You know, and again, we're for it. Like I was saying, I'm just to a point now where it's just like, man, you know, I'd rather just take my chances in the wilderness and just, you know, letting the Lord deal, you know, work things out for me, right? Rather than continue to, you know, deal with this shit, man. You know, I'd rather take my chances with the Lord, man. You know, because at this point, like I said, brothers is to a point where it's just like, man, you know, like, the hell with this, man. We can't, like, Lord, how long? I always say the $1 million question, how long? Because the hell with this shit, man. The hell with this place. The hell with these people. Right? But another quick one. And what is that? Job chapter 19. Because again, 2/3 of our people, they want to find out. The Lord is not one to play with. All right, like I said, you know, Jake takes this for a joke, right? And like I said, the Lord is going to have the last laugh. He's going to have the final say so. Like, as I just read, judgments are prepared for scorners, people that want to talk shit. They don't want to get down with the Lord's program. Okay. The Lord's going to prove a point, because it's through judgment. That's how the Lord, that's how he, you know, that's how he gets his respect. And you see, these people, they're about to put respect on the names of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. But in Job chapter 19 and verse 29, be ye afraid of the sword. And you see, because judgment goes out every day. All right. But it's not enough for these people. And that's why the Lord has to turn up. That's why judgments are going to increase. It's going to get to a point. I also did a video on this on my backer channel as well, about how, hey, because Esau, he gets too much credit. Esau gets way too much credit. Well, eventually it's going to get to a point where things are going to be happening, strange things. Things are going to get so chaotic. People are going to be forced to acknowledge Yahweh Bashem El Shai. They're going to be forced to acknowledge, hey, this is of a higher power, man. You know, going back to like the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, you had the magicians, right? You know, it was Moses and Aaron against the ancient, you know, those magicians, and eventually got to a point where they acknowledged, hey, this is of the finger of God, man. We can't do nothing. Like, you know, this is of the finger of God. This is of a higher power. And these people, they're going to be forced to recognize Yahweh Bashem El Shai and acknowledge Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and it's going to be through judgment. That's how the Lord is going to get respect in His name. But you see, again, because we're trying to get down with the Lord's program now, while there is hope, while it is yet day. You know, another precept that's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't seem to fathom it. But let me just read this again. Job 19 and 29. Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment. So you see, a judgment is coming. Judgments are being prepared, man. Judgment is coming. It's right around the corner. You know, and the scriptures also talk about how the Lord, He sends His scourges for an amendment, right? You know, the warning shots, man. Hey, the Lord has given everyone more than enough time to get your shit together. Because when it's all said and done, hey, and these things go from us speaking these words to us actually living through it. And I'm talking about us, the hopefully elect included in that, because we're going to be here. There's no rapture before the tribulation. All right. You know, we're all going to be here, and we're going to witness the great power, the wrath, the indignation of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. But it's all a thing of being preserved, right? But nevertheless, there is a judgment coming. Judgments are being prepared, man. Bear with me. See if I can find this real quick. It's on the tip of my tongue. Bear with me. And you see, man, that's why I can't wait for this shit to come crashing down, because Esau's technology is a joke. This technology is a joke. This is what Esau boasted in, right? So this is not what I wanted, but nevertheless, the Spirit led me here. Because again, the Spirit speaketh expressly, right? Because as I'm going to touch on, you know, as I'm about to read in Jeremiah 51, or when I go back to it, because again, we can't be too emotionally, spiritually invested into this place, because when it all comes crashing down, what are you going to do? A lot of people are about to be in a Lot's white spirit, right? Those possessions. You know, because you're too invested into this place. And that's why the Lord keeps us on a fine line. That daily bread, you know. All we need is enough just to get us by. That's it. Ecclesiasticus 11 and verse. I start at verse 23. Say not, what profit is there of my service, and what good thing shall I have hereafter? Again, because you know, this is all gonna, there is a reward coming to those that remain diligent, stay faithful unto the end. He that endureth until the end, the same shall be saved, right? You know, Lord, one of the sacrifices that we put up is gonna pay off. So don't, you know, like I just said, say not, what profit is there of my service? Because, you know, this truth, I'm gonna just say this now. There's no instant gratification or tangible reward for this, you know, on this side as of right now. That's not going to happen. All right, scriptures talk about suffer patiently, you know, because in due time, again, we're not going to get it right now, but in due time, in due season. All right, just wait, Jake, just wait. Suffer a little longer, because like I've been saying, how long? Not long at all. We don't have long at all. It says again, say not, I have enough and possess many things, and what evil can come to me hereafter? So you see, that's why we can't be too spiritually, emotionally invested in this place, because hey, some brothers do have more than others, right? You know, but don't think that, hey, like I just said here, what evil can come to me, right? You see, because you see, with many, with much possessions, it comes being comfortable. You know, you get too comfortable. That's why the Lord keeps us on a fine line, man. Keeps us uncomfortable, because hey, we can't get comfortable, man. Because you know, with Jake, man, it's just like, damn, you know, one thing another. It's like one thing after another. Jake can't get a break, but it's better that way. It's better this way for us, right? But going back to Jeremiah 51. All right, because again, there's a lot of these rumors, reports, speculations, things coming out, information coming out, whether it be true or not, whether it's verified or not, valid or not. Either way, the words of the Lord are going to come to pass. Judgment is going to ensue. All right, all hell's going to break loose. It's going to be chaos, pandemonium. Right? Jeremiah 51 and verse 45. Jeremiah 51 and 45. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Because going back to what I was touching on, because this is speaking in the spiritual sense. All right, fleeing, getting out of the midst of, go ye out of the midst of her. All right, talking about, spiritually, not being too spiritually, emotionally invested. The physical part is going to come when Yahweh Shai delivers us. But right now, spiritually, we don't care about this place. All right, we don't care about none of this stuff, man. We don't care about any of this, man. I'm not even gonna touch on that, but we don't care about any of this. All right, like I said, in fact, we can't wait to see all this go up. We can't wait for this system to come crashing down. As a matter of fact, Isaiah chapter 10. Isaiah chapter 10. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 27. And it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck. And the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. Because, like I was mentioning, basically you can liken this unto us being detached from the system. Like I said again, and it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck. Like I said, the time is going to come when we're not going to have to wake up 3-4 alarms. You got to snooze for your snooze, right? To work these bullshit jobs, be around these the time is going to come when we're not going to have to be dependent upon Esau and his system. We're going to be completely detached from the system. And that's why I said it's just, I'd rather just take my chances with the Lord, man, because the Lord hasn't failed yet. He hasn't done us wrong yet. So that's what we're coming in, the time that we're coming into, man. All right, this system is about to crash. All right, again, life as you know it is about to change very dramatically. So going back to Jeremiah 51, verse 45 again. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord, spiritually speaking. And let your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that, in another year, shall come a rumor. So you see, because, hey, this is, again, one of those things, JP talking shit, JP mocking. Y'all been saying that. Y'all been talking about that MOTB. Y'all been talking about World War III, right? And that's a condemnation to yourself, because, hey, the fact that you're JP making those statements, so y'all been talking about that. Well, you're just condemning yourself. All right? So you definitely can't say you weren't told. Right? But nevertheless, again, unless your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land, a rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that, in another year, shall come a rumor. So you see, again, because all the rumors, reports, brothers reporting on, the speculation, like I said, whether certain information is valid or not, eventually we're going to be living it. Because when you read on, it says, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. So violence is going to come, right? Again, it's going to go from us talking about these things to us actually living it, seeing it, experiencing it, going through it. And it's going to be that quick. Suddenly, as the scriptures emphasize, the Lord emphasizes on sudden destruction. You know, so again, that's why we can't, like I said, be too caught up into the things pertaining to this life, because at any moment, any second, any day, things can pop off, and we know it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of time. It's not a matter of, it's not a matter of when, all right, or if it's going to happen, right? But it's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, but when. You see, because going to it, man. You know, and again, the thumbnail that I got for this live, as well as other information that has been coming out, you know, like for say, the reports of the military activity movement that has been seen throughout America, right? Supposedly you have top U.S. military generals basically putting it out there that, hey, prepare. Everyone needs to get ready, right? And again, the said rumor is that, hey, because again, supposedly there's been these drills, and that's one of the things that have been said about all this military activity and movement. Oh, you know, there's nothing to worry about. You know, they're just conducting their conducting drills. Well, what are they preparing for? That's what you gotta ask, because they always gotta try to downplay these things. Well, what are they preparing for? Why are they doing drills? In preparation for what? Right? So long story short, again, you know, the report that, you know, with all this military movement activity in Babylon is more so not in, you know, it's not because basically they're preparing for domestic civil unrest. That's what's being said. All right, civil unrest. That's what they're preparing for, because there's, you know, and I posted a video on my backup channels. You know, with these, you got these utility workers. You know, basically. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. Bear with me. And you know, with all this being said, none of this is being reported on the mainstream media, right? None of this is being reported on the mainstream media. Not only that, you have all of these distractions going on right now, typical distractions, right? It's all a sleight of hands by Esau Edom. You know, it's all a sleight of hands, man. You know, Esau, he puts what he wants the people to see, but meanwhile, behind scenes, man, there's a whole lot of stuff going on right now. But everyone's focused on this. Meanwhile, over here, things are happening behind the scenes. So this video that I posted on my backup channels, it says the electric company and internet services posted up on every street. The storm is coming, just the beginning. God's power will show, because, you know, again, they're basically getting ready for some event, whether it's a major cyber attack, you know, the talks of a power grid going down, or power grids going down, or, you know, something major, something big. And they know there's going to be all type of civil unrest, right? They know there's going to be some type of civil unrest. And that's what, again, going back to all this military movement throughout Babylon, You know, that's what they're preparing for. Civil unrest here in Babylon. All right? Because they know violence is going to ensue, right? Because that's the thing with these Americans. They like to be comfortable. And the minute they're uncomfortable, that's when we're going to start seeing looting. And it's going to be for real. Not the little, you know, those little psyops that Esau, you know, with these little fake protests here and there, right, that we've been seeing over the years. No, it's going to be, people are really going to be tearing shit up out here. All right? To the point where it's really going to be unsafe to go outside. You know? It's going to be unsafe to go outside. It's going to be the real deal. You see? And with that, there's going to come martial law. Right? Because even going back with the clip, or excuse me, the thumbnail that I have for this live, in that video, the Eve, she mentioned how, hey, and we seen this, and that's why I believe it's not too far-fetched what she was mentioning, what she was, you know, talking about, because we seen this back in 2020, 2021, right, where pretty much, you know, for the most part, everyone was locked in. You had curfews and stuff like that, you know, and when, you know, the more and more, you know, the society started to ease up and let up, out of nowhere, we seen all these towers, right? We seen all these towers out of nowhere, because what the Eve was mentioning in that video, she mentioned how when there's a martial law, because something could happen, whether it be the because that's the talk right now, cyber attacks, basically the lights going out, a lights out situation, a lights out event, all right? And when that happens, you know, you're gonna have chaos, whatever the case may be. You know, and from there is being, and this is from, you know, multiple sources. There could be martial law, you know, light martial law being enacted, right? You know, things get shut down, or curfews, or however they play it. And she mentioned, and that's why I think that it's not too far-fetched, because while everyone is locked down, right, curfews and stuff, things of that nature, she mentioned how, hey, if they do let ease up on things, if they do, well, this time, you know, these stores, they're going to be set up completely different, to where basically you won't be able to buy and sell, right, without a certain, you know, certain credentials, right? Because that's what all, you know, it's all a conditioning, gradualism, like with this Fed now, you know, that's supposed to start up in less than what, about a week or so. You know, now Fed now, that's not, so to say, that's not CBDC, but that's more conditioning. It's a more gradualism. All right, transactions being made much faster, which is basically going to, you know, it's all conditioning on of people getting down with this system, with Esau's system, the beast system. You see, further conditioning. You know, that's what this Fed now, that's what it's going to lead to, more and more. You know, you see, and again, you're too locked into the system, you're too attached to the system to, well, hey, you know, because again, man, life as we know is about to change. Like I said, soon all this is going to be, it's going to be it's going to be like waking up to a completely different world. You know, a completely different world. You see? But I'm going to get this. In Jeremiah chapter 4. Jeremiah 4:19. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. my heart maketh the noise, in me I cannot hold my peace. And you see, because I also touched on this as well, one of my channels, backup channels, about how, hey, or might have been this channel, going into that sense of urgency, man. There is a sense of urgency, you know, which these camps, they don't have that sense of urgency, man. When it comes to the real men of the Lord, man, the real men of the Lord, the real men of Yahweh Shem Shai, there is a sense of urgency. All right, because, hey, this shit is about to get real. It's about to get real out here, man. It's about to get real. But these jakes, again, they're playing around, especially these so-called leaders, playing games. And that's why judgment must begin with those who know better, especially when it comes to these so-called leaders. It says, my heart maketh the noise. In me I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. So you see, and that's what we're doing, sounding the alarm, blowing the trumpet. All right, because that's what time we're in. Pursuant to Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, there's a time for everything. There's a time for war, there's a time for peace. We're in a time of war. Esau, the spirit of the Lord is putting his spirit. The Lord is putting his spirit on these devils. They're making moves. The devils get ready to come down with great wrath. All right, they're setting up a trench about us, man. You know, soon their armies are going to be compassed about us. It's going to be 70 AD all over again. Much worse, 144 times worse, man. You see, and again, you know, because when Jake comes to understand, like, man, those guys, they were right this whole time. Hey, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. Again, hey, the Lord's chastening us now while there is hope, because when that time comes, it's too late, man. That's it. There is no hope for all those that didn't want to get down with the Lord's program. It says, destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled, and my curtains in a moment. How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? So you see, man, destruction upon destruction. This is what's coming. Judgments are being prepared. All hell is getting ready to break loose. You know? And we're getting ready to transition, as brothers be saying, from faith to faith. Because, hey, again, you know, now we're talking about it, right? But, hey, the time is going to come where we're going to have to live it. We're going to have to live through this. We're going to have to live through it. You know? And it's going to be a transition of speaking these words, like I said, speaking these words to actually, hey, because that's another thing with Jay. They think that we're just going to be doing this forever. We're just going to do this until the kingdom comes. No, man, this is not a hobby. This is not a hobby for us, man. We take this deadly serious. Brothers sacrifice a lot to do this, man. And like I said, hey, Lord willing, this sacrifice that we put up, man, it's enough to earn salvation, to earn the Lord's mercy, to be found in the Lord's good graces when he does come. All right, you know, hey, the scriptures talk about how he's going to sweep through the land, man, just like back in ancient Egypt. All those that didn't have the blood on their doorposts, all right, hey, that death angel, man, Yahweh Shai, he swept through the land. Well, hey, same thing today, spiritually, in a spiritual sense. That death angel is coming back. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed, just judgment on all sides, north, south, east, west, over here, over there, you know. And we're just trying to be found in the Lord's good graces, man. You know, because that's our best bet. Is the Lord showing us mercy. Because again, we're going to have to be here. But the difference between Lord willing, these people it's a matter of being preserved. You see? So Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect.